How to turn stress into strength. This is about finding your inner calm even when there's a storm raging on the outside. And this might not be easy, but we are talking about this today. And welcome to the Her Inner Revolution podcast. My name is Valerie, and I'm so excited for you to be here. Stress really is something that I don't know anyone who is not experiencing it. And it can be such a normal part of our life, and it also is okay. We don't have to, cancel stress. She is also invited to the party because it actually shows us what is important to us. A definition of stress I really love, and that always helps me to ground myself and to look at things in a different way, is to view stress as something that is important to you. So whenever you feel stress, it is a sign that the actual thing is important to you. So when I am running late for my train, which often happens, I know that it is important for me to catch that train. Why? Because I want to be on time. So stress is created from actually things meaning something to us. I want to be on time. I want to show up as my best self. So whatever it is, and that stress is created from pressure. Pressure to perform, pressure to be, to hold up to expectations. And knowing this gives us more clarity. So when I evaluate things in stressful situations based on, okay, are they important to me? I can show up in a different way. I can show life that it's also important to me. And when I find out, okay, I am stressed, but it's actually not important, then there's something different happening here on a different level of our system, on a different level of our mind. We sometimes, or the ego loves to push something higher and make something bigger, which is actually not really important. And this is really beautiful to evaluate whenever you feel stress. Is this actually important to you or is it not? And if it's not important to you and you notice that your ego is turning it into something big, you can just throw it out. Maybe that is more simpler said than done, but you can talk back to yourself and actually tell yourself, hey girl, I know you're making a big thing out of this, but actually it's not that important. You can just let it go. And I know these self-talks sound really weird, but they are actually working. I mean, your thoughts are like conversations that are happening in your head. So you're basically nonstop talking to yourself. Why would you not talk back to yourself and, calm yourself down in that way? It's like gently talking to a baby and telling her, okay, it's all right, it's fine. You can, I don't know, sleep, or I'm not a mom yet, you can definitely see. Just soothing her, and you can soothe yourself. And that is actually so, so, so important to gain back that skill. It doesn't have to be like, oh, shush, little baby, you're okay. But you can be like, okay, girl, I see you. I know that it is seemingly important, but I have figured out that it's not. So thank you for telling me, for letting me know. And we're moving on to the next thing. And if you talk back to yourself like that, you can actually reprogram your mind, because these programs are running automatically from our subconsciousness. And if we just allow them to flow like that and never talk back to them, they will also, why would they change, right? They don't have any resistance. They're just okay, like, yep, we are causing stress. This is awesome. I'm getting attention. Perfect. But if we talk back to that voice in our head that is causing us stress, we tell her, we teach her that we set boundaries for ourselves. So we are setting boundaries for the voice in our mind. And this is what might feel weird at first, but it's actually super helpful to just be in a conversation with yourself, because actually journaling is, in my opinion, also just having a conversation with yourself, to listen to yourself, to listen to what your intuition actually wants to tell you. Because in your life, when you rush to work and you rush home to have dinner and then you rush home to go watch Netflix, you are stuck in this endless loop of mostly repetitive thoughts, because most of our thoughts are repetitive. It is really rare that we have a new thought. So these repetitive thoughts, they don't have any real benefit, because usually those thoughts just re-trigger all the emotions. Emotions are chemically processed through the body within 90 seconds. Anything that happens after that is your thoughts recreating that emotion and keeping that emotion like sadness or anger alive. So when you interrupt those patterns from your mind, you actually get the chance to stop that chemical cycle that is happening and replace negative thoughts with beautiful thoughts, talk back to yourself, and create different chemical reactions in your body. So talking back to yourself is the very first thing you can do. But turning stress into strength is actually happening on 3 levels. So the first one that we just discussed is the mental level, talking back to yourself. And the second one is your emotional level, which we discussed a little with the 90-second rule. But there's actually more to that. But before we dive deeper into emotions, we have the physical level. And the physical level is really powerful. Because let me tell you this, it's a really weird story, and I have no idea how that happened or why that happened. But I was in a car crash, and since then I am super scared of driving. But I had to take the car to drive to that one location that is really far away, and I had this really old car, which I'm really not good at driving. And I was in the car speaking affirmations like, I can do this, I am safe, I'm a good driver. But if you're watching this on video, I was sitting in my car, my hands were shaking, I was sweating, I was so nervous, and I was saying it like this. I am good enough. I am a good driver. Yeah, this will be great. So my thoughts were saying this. So it was happening on a mental level, but I didn't, first of all, I didn't believe it, and it was not happening in my body. So my nervous system was like, what the fuck? What are you trying to tell me? This is weird. I'm getting mixed signals here, and now I know what happened. But I was sitting there being more stressed because I thought, okay, affirmations have to work, and affirmations didn't work. But my body was just in such a big stress response that I could have said anything and I wouldn't have believed it. So whenever you are in a stressful situation, it is really important for you to understand and to ask yourself, on which level am I right now? And even if you don't know on which level you are, it's usually beautiful to start on the physical level. And this is something I regularly do and always know when I have stressful situations coming up. You can never prevent all the stress in your life. Even having like a speech or a presentation is stressful, and you can willingly put yourself into stressful situations because they are outside of your comfort zone and you need that to grow. But what you can do is to prepare yourself. And this is what I am doing before meetings or any big things that are coming up. Wherever I am, anywhere, they usually have a bathroom. And this is key. This is your space to just take a deep breath. So step 1, if it feels right for you, take a deep breath. You can do that wherever you are, or create a safe space for you where you can allow yourself to breathe. This doesn't have to be a fancy breathing pattern. You can just breathe deeper. And that is super important because in our stress response, how we usually breathe is really shallow and really short. This is meant for running. Awesome, but we're not fighting tigers anymore. We have evolved so we can breathe deeper and allow our nervous system to just calm down, to give us a physical sign that we can slow down. Adrenaline can be good with a speech or a presentation. It has its benefits, but sometimes it has not. And that is the actual moment that you want to use these breathing patterns. Also, when you feel stressed and have that adrenaline, whenever, it is just beneficial to calm your nerves. So step number 1, breathing. And if you want to dive deeper into this and want to add that little step and you have 1 more minute in your bathroom or in a safe space wherever you are, you can start shaking your body out. And I also love to do that when I am leaving my job in the afternoon and I'm transitioning from my day job to whatever is coming then in the day. I'm just shaking my hands out. And usually I have like my key card and I stamp myself out and then I do something like this. And people don't look at me weird because it can be, I don't know, raining and you got some rain on your coat, I don't know, and you're shaking that out. So usually that is just, no one's noticing it. But it's a ritual for me just to know, okay, I'm transitioning, I can slow down, I can take a breather. I have the space and the time to calm down now. And when you're in the bathroom or in a safe space, you can start shaking your body out. You can start shaking your hands or your feet, roll your neck, and give your body space to process that adrenaline, to also process all the stress hormones that are flooding your system. And this can also, I'm telling you this, these hacks can be weird at first, these tips can be weird at first, but try them out and see how they feel for you. We sometimes have this vision of things need to be exactly that way and they need to be aesthetic and pretty and normal, but just try and see what feels right for you. We can do this shaking also before bed. I love that. Or doing little leg jumps when you wake up. That is also really beneficial for your system. So realigning, shaking that body out, giving your body the time to release that energy, because all this stress is stuck up energy. And by shaking your body out, you are releasing that energy. And that is important for your system to just renew, to just refresh. So you can then have that mental clarity and also have space to process your emotions. So if you feel calmer on a physical level, step number 3, I also love to do is power posing. Just doing like a superwoman pose in the bathroom. And this can really be for 1 minute. Also standing tall, holding my head high and breathing. Because this makes me feel more confident. And usually stressful situations, okay, if we evaluate that they're not really super important to us, but it still feels stressful and it's linked to pressure, we sometimes feel that stress because we think that we're not good enough or not confident enough or think that we just cannot do it. So power posing is a beautiful way for you to open up your body, to open up your posture, and this changes so much in your body. This is really incredible. Maybe you have tried that out before exams. I know me and my girls have done that in the bathroom before exams, standing there, all of us, looking in the mirror, looking fierce, being like the superwoman. And I know it not only made us laugh, but it actually felt great in our body. And I know for sure that I felt more confident. So these are your tools for calm inner peace on a physical level. On the mental level, we discussed. So let's talk about emotions. Even though I say that in theory, emotions just flush through your body within 90 seconds and then are gone, this usually is not what happens in real life. So let's talk about emotions. Emotions of stress are often connected to sadness, frustration, anger. So really big emotions that can really also feel overwhelming. And these emotions are energy in motion. It's like physical tension, emotional tension is also stuck in your body. Whenever, maybe you have done that too, you've been in a really good yoga practice and they have been doing pigeon pose and all of the sudden you are crying. And I know one of my favorite teachers said, if you have never had a really good cry in a pigeon pose, just wait, it's going to come. And this is also beautiful because this perspective gives us the space that we allow emotions to flow. We can allow our anger to flow, our sadness to flow, because usually we say, okay, I have these emotions, but I don't want to feel them. Feeling them is maybe exhausting. Maybe that's how you feel after crying. You feel like, oh my goodness, I just need to sleep for 8 hours after having a cry, because this is actually also exhausting for your body and is a natural response. But just like that, sadness and anger and frustrations are emotions that have to be felt. Feeling is moving through it. And just like we are allowing tears to come in a yoga pose, we are allowing stressful situations to just flow to us while accepting that these are a natural part of life. So when that situation is over, where you actually felt that stress, maybe you have been in an exam or had to hold like a speech, or had a lot of time pressure, that is not the space where you're like, okay, I'm sitting in the classroom or I'm holding this presentation and I have, oh, this is such a safe space. I get to cry in front of like 30 people. Maybe you want to do that, but maybe you don't. So here's how to actually create a safe space for you to feel these emotions. And that is actually the key, creating a safe space for you to feel those emotions. This can be really unique to you. But the important thing is, in life, and I know I have been there too many, many times, that I have been rushing through experiences and not fully processing them. So whenever a stressful situation would occur, the next situation would be right there, like waiting for me. And I did not take the time to give myself a rest, to give myself a pause. But actually, these emotions are coming when you give yourself a pause. Maybe I know I have some beautiful friends who also do that. They, I really love that. They set an appointment for themselves where they say, okay, this is the time slot in my calendar where I allow myself to cry. Maybe that has worked for you. I've personally never tried it before, but it is a beautiful way to just allow your emotions to flow. What I have done is just to create that space to feel. To feel doesn't have to mean, okay, I'm sitting here and now I have to cry. If that works for you, absolutely beautiful. But it can also just be, okay, I'm creating the safe space. I'm taking these 10 minutes. I am intentionally taking this time just to feel through my emotions. And this is usually what we rush, what we don't do. And when we don't do that, these emotions stack up. So it doesn't have to be a time slot in your calendar. Maybe if you're scheduled like that, go like make that appointment with yourself. That's beautiful. But just find that time on a regular basis where you get to feel. This can be with your journal. This can be sending voice notes to yourself. This can be calling a friend or sending a voice note to your friend. Finding an emotional outlet for you. This can be punching in your pillow, but it's just that sacred space where you allow yourself to feel. I think it's so beautiful when we watch children. They are really open with their emotion. You can immediately see in a child if they are angry, if they are sad, frustrated, or anything. And with grown-ups, with adults, we don't see it. They hide their emotions and just shove it down, and it all gets stored in the body. So in order for us to release that and to let that out, we can create these safe spaces for us just to feel into it. And there are really beautiful journal prompts that you can do, or you can also just go for a walk and send yourself a voice note. And if you don't know what you want to talk about, just start with, I don't know. I don't know what I want to say. I don't know how I'm feeling, and so on. So you're creating that space, and usually what needs to come then comes to the surface. And it doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be big, it can be small, but you just give yourself that space to process. And if it's loud, if it's big, hey, that's also really beautiful. Just give yourself that grace, give yourself that space, and you can feel through your emotions. And by feeling through them, you can let them go and you can let them out. Because now if I go into pigeon pose, I know I have released my emotions in my hips. They're out. I have been there. And now it actually feels good for me to be in that pose. And if you don't know that pose, it's a really big hip opener. And for us women and humans in general, we store many emotions in our hips. So if we open up our hips, we get the chance to release those emotions. So release the tension that is in your body. And also, just like that, with life situations where you have felt through them, of course, things can also come up later. Grief can also come in waves. That's completely natural. But you know that you have created the space to move through these emotions and allow yourself to rest after that. Maybe you have time to do a little nap or take a walk or do some little gentle yoga for yourself, whatever feels good for you. And these are the 3 different levels of how to move through stressful situations to come out on the other side feeling strength and actually feeling grounded in yourself. And these practices, you can do them while you are stressed, you can do them after you're stressed, and you can also do them in preparation, like doing the power posing before a speech or releasing tension in your body every night. These are your powerful tools to implement whenever you need them and whenever you feel like they benefit you. So go experiment with those before your next speech or before your next event that you kind of feel nervous about, and see if some of those things are good for you to implement them every day, like shaking your body out before you go to bed or taking a deep breather before you jump out of bed in the morning. These are really beautiful little ways to reset your nervous system. They are super easy to do and also can be really fun. Shaking my body out always makes me laugh, so it's a 2-in-1. I would love to hear when you apply these practices, how they feel for you. If you have any questions about this, always let me know. Always feel free to reach out for my one-on-one coaching spots if you want more information on that. And I'm so excited to see you in the next episode.